problem?
4 quarts.
Okay, so we know that that means this size is our quarts, right? And so if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this says that 2 pints equals 1 quart, that means this is 2 pints, this is 2 pints, this is 2 pints, this is 2 pints. It's the same amount, but when you're talking about a quart, like suppose I have this seltzer water, right? This is in ounces. We can also measure this in tablespoons. We can also measure it in cups. We can also measure it in all kinds of different things that will help us. It'll still fit in this container, but it's called something else. So if you have 4 quarts, and Harrison has the same exact containers, but he says, oh, you know what, Peter, you can measure yours in quarts, but I'm going to measure mine in pints. How many pints would would Harrison have? Same containers, same exact measurements of quantity, but they're using a different label.
He would have 2 pints.
So that's per quart. And you said you had, so draw this out. 1 pint, 2 pints, 3 pints, 4 pints. This is what Peter had. So this is a quart and a quart and a quart and a quart. But Harrison's is in pints. And we see from up here that 1 quart equals 2 pints. So Harrison's going to have the same exact rectangles. Pretend like those are exact. But he's going to measure his in pints. And it's going to be filled with the same quantity of liquid. But he's not going to talk about quarts. He's talking about pints. So we go to our table and we say, well, if 1 quart equals 2 pints, that means the second quart is 2 pints, the third quart is 2 pints, and the fourth quart is 2 pints. So how many pints does Harrison have, and how many quarts does Peter have? So your first quart right here, this is Peter. Harrison's going to measure his, but his is the same exact container, but it's 2 pints. So far, you have 1 quart, and Harrison has 2 pints. Then for the second quart, how many pints does Harrison have?
He has 4 pints.
So just in this one right here. So you have your second quart is how much? 1 quart.
2 quarts.
So this is 1 quart. How much does Harrison have?
Harry has 2 pints.
Yep. And then for this one, it's 1 quart. How many pints does Harry have?
2 pints.
And then here's 1 quart, and this is 2 pints. So now you're going to add up your number of quarts. How many quarts do you have?
I have 4 quarts.
And then how many pints does Harry have?
He has 8 pints.
Yeah. So same containers. He's going to dump your liquid out and put his liquid in. And it's going to be the same exact quantity. Just like I can measure something. Suppose I have this ruler. And this ruler says that something is 12 inches. Right? So I have this piece of paper and it is going to be 12 inches. I can either say 12 inches or I could say 1 foot, right?
Yeah.
And they're both the same exact measure. Same. I can't fit the whole thing in there. Okay, just take my word for it. This whole thing is 12 inches, and we can also call it a foot. Same thing with quarts and pints. If you have 2 pints, that's equal to 1 quart. So you can talk about this container as being 32 ounces, 4 cups, 2 pints, or 1 quart. Same container, but they're different types of measurements. Does that make sense a little teeny bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone said, this time I'm not going to use the twins. I'm going to use you and me. I have 1 gallon of milk. But you say, Anne, that is too heavy for me. I'm going to do mine in cups. 1 gallon equals 16 cups. So I have this big gallon and you have 16 measuring cups. And those are easier for you to pour. So you're going to pour all of these in here. We're going to have the same amount of liquid. My container is just different. I only have 1 and you have 16. But if you pour them in, they're the same exact measure.
Yeah.
So if there's a word problem and it says that Anne has 2 cups of milk and Peter has 8 ounces of milk, who has more? Well, because ounces are little and cups are bigger, we can't say, oh, well, 8 is bigger than 2. We have to convert it and say, how many ounces are in a cup? There's 8 ounces in a cup. So that means you have 16 ounces if you were the same as me. But you don't have 16 ounces. You only have 8 ounces. So who has more milk? Anne or Peter?
Anne.
Yeah, because yours is in smaller little, you have 8 of them, but if you poured them in, it would only be half full.
Yeah.
So you have to measure pints to pints or ounces to ounces. And if they're not already in, like suppose someone said, who has more? Anne has 1 cup and Peter has 2 cups. That's easy. Peter has more because it's cups to cups.
Yeah.
But if they said Peter has 16 ounces and Anne has 17 cups, you would have to either convert them all to cups or all to ounces, which is not easy. I get that because you only do it once a year. You don't do this, once they do measuring, you never do it again you won't do this again until 5th grade. And then you'll do it once and then you'll do it again, which is why this is so helpful to see it all together. So we can see if they said, John has 1 cup and Cindy has 8 ounces, we know that those are equivalent, right? Because we have our little chart here that tells us 1 cup equals 8 ounces.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you another one. If I have 2 quarts of something, how many cups would that be? I have 2 quarts, and my question is, how many cups is that? So we're going to go to our quart chart. This is 1 quart equals 4 cups. So how many would 2 quarts be?
8 cups.
Yeah. How many ounces would 2 quarts be? 1 quart is 32.
64.
Yes. Okay, if I have 4 gallons of milk, how many quarts would that be?
4 gallons of milk. How many quarts? 4?
1 gallon equals 4 quarts, so how many would 4 gallons be?
60.
What about if there was somebody that walked into Mom's store and the person said, oh, I am so sorry. I had this gallon of milk and I spilled exactly half of it. How many quarts is that? How would she figure that out? So now we only have a half a gallon of milk. How many quarts would that be?
2.
1 gallon is 4 quarts. So how many quarts is a half a gallon?
Oh, 2.
Yeah. How many pints would that be?
4.
How many cups would that be?
8.
Yes. What about 2 gallons of milk? How many quarts would that be?
4.
No, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So how many would 2? Yep. How many pints would that be?
12.
2 gallons equals how many pints? So if I have 2 gallons and I know 1 gallon is 8 pints, this gallon is 8 pints and this gallon is 8 pints. How many pints would I have?
You could have 32.
So this gallon is 8 pints and this gallon is 8 pints. What is 8 plus 8?
16.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought you said 4 gallons, so I thought you would do.
No, now we're doing 2 gallons. How many cups would 2 gallons be?
Box. Well, a gallon is 16. 32.
Yeah. How many cups would 4 gallons, 4 pints be? So now I have 4 pints and I'm asking how many cups would that be? 1 pint is 2 cups, so how many would 4 pints be?
8.
How many ounces would that be?
32.
4 pints. You can write it out like this. I have 1 pint equals 2 cups. So if I have 4, that's 2 cups, 2 cups, 2 cups. You can totally write it out. It's 100% okay. How many cups do I have?
8.
Yeah. And then if I told you, forget about cups now. Now we're going to do ounces. I have 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, and 16 ounces. How many ounces would equal 4 pints?
So, wait, should we do 16 plus 16 and then times whatever you get there to...
I would do 16 times 4. So what is 16 times 4?
I got 64.
No. 6 times 4 is 20. Oh, yeah, 64. Yeah. What did you say?
I said 64.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Now we're going to do 5 cups equals how many ounces? So look on your paper and tell me how, if I have 1 cup, how many ounces is that?
8 ounces.
Okay. So I want you to draw 5 boxes.
Oh, it's 8 times 5 is 40.
Yeah, but go through the process so you can get good at it. 1 cup equals 8 ounces. So this is 5 cups. We're going to do 8 ounces, 8 ounces, 8 ounces, 8 ounces, 8 ounces. And then we can do our multiplication. 8 times 5 is 40 ounces. It's good. It's fine. It's a great thing to write it all out like this because it is tricky. We want to make sure that we have a full understanding. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a question. How hot is it? How hot is it at your place?
It is 51 degrees this morning. I think it was 30. We were supposed to get a snowstorm, but now they're saying Friday.
So it was 30 degrees.